Morning, guys. Scott Trulock with Trulock Chokes here. I'm down at the patterning range this morning to test some turkey loads. It's almost springtime, and that means spring turkey's almost here. So in preparation for that, I wanted to talk to you this morning and demonstrate some of the TSS loads and how they pattern. Specifically, I want to talk about over choking for some of the TSS loads that are out there today. Back when TSS became really commercially available 7, 8, 9 years ago, the loads were fairly light compared to what some of them are today. They range anywhere from 1 3/4 ounce in 12 gauge up to 2 3/4 ounce. 1 3/4 ounce works pretty well with really tight chokes. 2 3/4 ounce does not work well with really tight chokes. And I'm going to demonstrate that here today. We're going to shoot some light loads through our 640, and then we're going to shoot a really heavy load through our 640. And I want to show you what happens when you overchoke TSS. The heavy load should give me a blown pattern. And I think I'll demonstrate that here shortly. So give me a minute to get set up and we'll get this thing going. All right, so I'm set up downrange. First up, I've got a Federal 1 3/4 ounce number 9 TSS through our Federal TSS heavyweight number 9 choke, which is a 640 exit diameter in this particular style choke. I know what it's going to do. I've hunted with this thing for many years, so we should get a really tight pattern out of this fairly light load. So let's get to it. All right, let's go check it out. All right, so the Federal TSS number 9, 1 3/4 ounce out of our Federal number 9 heavyweight choke. In this particular style choke, it's a 640 exit diameter. You can see that's about a 8-inch circle, not quite 10, which is what we normally pattern with. But you've got, I'm just guessing here, a couple hundred hits in that, multiple hits in the head and neck, which is all we really care about as turkey hunters, is breaking that neck, shooting him in the head, putting him on the ground. So that's about what I expected out of that. Good pattern, not crazy tight, a good hunting pattern. All right, so next up, we're going to shoot a 3.5-inch load of number 8 TSS 2 3/4 ounce from Winchester. This is way too big of a load for this 640 exit diameter choke. The pattern may look okay once we get down to it, but when I open up the choke constriction on the next shot, you'll see the difference I'm talking about. Over choking can lead to blown patterns. All right, let's go check it. So the Winchester number 8 TSS 2 3/4 ounce load through a Remington 640 choke. I was a bit high and left, which seems to be a theme this week based on my video I shot a few days ago, but not a bad pattern, but you've got flyers all over this paper. And when I go, I'm going to shoot a 665 exit diameter next with the same load. And you'll see a lot of those flyers come in and the pattern tighten up. That comes from when you're shoving a big payload through a tight choke, it doesn't always tighten your pattern up. You get this a lot of times where your pattern starts to actually open up. So we'll compare these two once I shoot the 665 and you'll be able to see the difference. And I'm going to flip this around and show you the back side. Maybe the camera can pick it up. So just going to estimate a 10-inch circle. something like that. So there's the bulk of your pattern right there, but look at your flyers. They're just scattered all over the place. I mean, that's just too much constriction, and that's what you get. All right, so this is the choke we've been shooting, 640 exit diameter, our Federal Heavyweight TSS number 9 12 gauge in Remington style. And this is what we're going to. Our Longbeard 665 exit diameter choke, which was designed for Longbeard number 4. But this choke, that exit diameter in particular, works well with a variety of loads. So we're shooting that 2 3/4 ounce load, which is too much constriction for this, too big for this 640 constriction. This 665, opening it up 25 thousandths, is going to make a big difference as to how this thing patterns. You ready? All right, again, Winchester number 8 TSS, 2 3/4 ounces through our Longbeard number 4 Remington choke, which is a 665 exit diameter. And in case you're wondering, no, these things are not fun to shoot. So Winchester TSS number 8, 2 3/4 ounce, 3.5 inch shell through our Longbeard 665 choke. I was a little more centered on that one. This has still got some flyers, but when I pull this pattern down and look at the backside, especially comparing it to the one I just shot through the 640 choke, you'll be able to see the difference. This pattern is going to be much tighter, less flyers overall, but when we flip them around back and look at them, you'll really be able to see the difference there. Next up, Nitro number 9 TSS, 3-inch, 2 5/16 ounce load through the 640 Remington choke again, which should be too much constriction for a load this heavy. All right, so Nitro number 9 TSS, 2 5/16 ounce, 3-inch shell through our 640 Remington Federal Heavyweight TSS choke. This pattern opened up a lot. I knew it was going to be too much constriction, and I think that proved out. We'll shoot the Longbeard 665 choke next with the same load, and you should see this pattern shrink in. But right now, that's a 20-inch pattern, which is not what you go for when you're turkey hunting if you're looking for a really tight pattern. All right, same Nitro load, 3-inch, 2 5/16 ounce, number 9 TSS. This time through our Longbeard number 4 Remington 665 exit diameter. You should see that pattern tighten up. That is tighter. Doesn't look like it from the front, but once I flip it around, and you can see the whole pattern on the backside, and especially when I compare it to the last one we shot through the 640 choke, you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, the two nitro shells, or the nitro load through the two different choke tubes, excuse me. 665 Longbeard number 4 choke with a nitro number 9, 2 5/16 ounce. You got a really tight center. You got some flyers on the outside, but you're always going to have that. But you can see the difference. There's the bulk of your pattern right here, maybe 9 inches across, versus out of the 640 choke, you got a big pattern. That for sure blew out. And that's the point I was trying to get across today with this stuff. You really can over choke these loads, especially with the really heavy loads. You have to back off of your exit diameter in order to get a good tight pattern, if that's what you're looking for. If you want a more open pattern, then you can certainly use that. Either one of these is going to put a turkey in the dirt, but personally, this is what I want versus this. All right, and this is the Winchester number 8 TSS 2 3/4 ounce, 3.5 inch shell out of the 665 choke and the 640 choke. And you can see the obvious difference. Again, over choking can lead to this. That's a good pattern. That one opened up quite a bit, and I can't really show all the flyers on here, but there's a big difference in these two patterns. So if you're shooting really heavy loads, open up your exit diameter. It will help you get a tighter pattern, or else you'll end up with this. All right, folks, hope you learned something today. That's going to do it for me. If you've got any questions or comments, or just want more information on what this video was about, you can reach us at www.trulockchokes.com or 1-800-293-9402. I've got a lot more shooting to do, pulling the trigger and counting holes, which is not fun, so I'll spare you that. This is Scott Trulock with Trulock Chokes. I'll see you next time.
Do you enjoy patterning, or is it...
Sometimes, but when you got to sit here and do this with these turkey loads all day, man, golly, it just beats you to death. And then you got to go count holes. But I've been using my youngest to do that, paying them $2 or $3 a pattern to circle all the holes and count them for me.